What's going on, guys? My name is Patrick Poole, and welcome to another episode of Pat Talk. If you guys like this video, go ahead and subscribe. I also got my Facebook and Instagram. Those links will be coming through as this video goes through. And yeah, welcome to another episode of Pat Talk. I'm out in my car. I got my my house studio set up with the microphone, so you guys should be able to hear me clearly. Anything that you guys suggest in this video, let me know, because I'm trying to bring out the best content to you guys as possible through my digital device, the iPhone. So just let me know in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. So if you guys don't know already, I started Pat Talk because I have a lot of good ideas that I've just seen throughout the years. And as a young man, I want to just not only inspire others, but especially inspire this next generation to go get what they want. Because, and I see a lot of it today of people, they're just wandering out there, don't know what they want. They're just there. Like, and I'm a person where I don't like just standing. I gotta move. I gotta talk. I gotta be going towards something bigger and better than myself, because I know that there's a whole world out there that not only you can explore, but you can see and interact and meet new people. And that's why I do these. And, thank you guys to all the first timers out there. And like I said, I'm just going to start with the topic, and we're going to elaborate on this more, because that's how I'm going to do this. We're going to just do a topic, elaborate it. I got my setup, and we're going to keep going from there. So one thing that I've realized out of working at my job, and I'm a general manager, but one thing that I've seen from my job that I can tell early on that pretty much makes a difference on who's successful as a manager and who's having trouble is one word, and it's called humility. And before we continue, it's like, what is humility? So humility, in my opinion, and I don't have the exact definition on here. Sorry, I didn't prepare, but gonna keep going. So humility, in my definition, is the ability to let your ego out the way and focus on another person or another item that is important more than what you're doing. So, for example, that as a manager is, yes, I'm a general manager. I love to, make sure that I'm beating my budget so that way I can get money back in the bottom line, which, depending on your management structure, might return back into a bonus. And that's all great. But, at the same time, you are a manager because you're helping and managing people. So there are people working for you. So all the managers know this. If you're a manager and you don't have the support at the positions that the store needs, then two things are going to happen. Either those positions are going to be closed, or you're going to be the one running those positions and on top of whatever you got to do. So now you're busting your butt going 100 miles an hour, and who knows if that task or responsibilities across your store or your company, it's not going to get done. And I think we saw that first with COVID. COVID was a great example, because during COVID, we had jobs shut down and companies were freaking out. Like, how the heck do we go from, manual and mechanical to automated to online in a snap of a finger? Universities went through that firsthand. I was about to graduate college in a couple months, and COVID hits, and we went from in-person class to Zoom in less than a week. And it was crazy, and I still remember it to this day. But, that's the one thing about humility. Humility is important because you have to be able to adjust, and you have to be able to let go of what your main mission is sometimes to still get the mission accomplished. And I feel like I see that in some managers too. And this is just from my work experience in general. Some managers, they get so focused on the item, they get so focused on the money, they get so focused on, oh, well, if this doesn't get done because we have this rules and procedures, then this doesn't get done. Let me tell you guys something real quick. You are human. You're going to make mistakes. I don't care what kind of job, I don't care how many rules and expectations that you want to hit or that you want to nail down. There is going to be a gray area because you are a human. I have made mistakes in my life because I am human. I have done things that I shouldn't have done or should have done because I am human. Now, sometimes the things I don't do or the things that I do, it might lead to an outcome that I didn't expect and it was good, or a different outcome and it was bad. But that's the reason why I try to hammer humility for all the people and the leaders out there. And this is not just something for the managers out there. This is for everyone. If you have an online business, you have to be humble enough to know that you got to put the work in before you can expect any sort of return in your business. If you have a Shopify store, if you're doing FBA, if you're doing a product or a service through your course, cryptocurrency, photography, any of it requires you to be humble, because your ego, let's be honest, most of us, besides us having the skill set to lead and teach other people, the other reason why we're doing this is because we can make money off of our services. Just like I said, I post these videos on YouTube. If it gets money, it comes back to me, great. That's awesome. But being a leader and taking a step further, being an entrepreneur, in the beginning, or at least just throughout the time, you have to control yourself and be humble, and to know why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Because a lot of the time, what we realize is that we get caught up or we get distracted, and then we don't focus. Then when you don't focus, results don't get done. And if you're in a situation with me where I have a team of people, they're looking at you like, oh, well, is this my boss? Oh, well, what's wrong with him? Or I don't want to work for him anymore. And then you leave, and then everything snowballs. So that's why I hammer humility and why it is important. It's really important because if you want people to follow you, you have to listen to them. I'm not saying you got to change your rules. I'm not saying that there's going to be gray area, but as long as you treat your team members right, they will go a mile for you. If you have to take a break, if you have to take a vacation, anything. And that doesn't just come, let's focus back to the online business. If you have a Shopify store and you have a customer, maybe the product doesn't turn out good. As long as you keep up with them, as long as you show them gratitude and gratefulness, then they'll be okay. They'll understand, okay, this product broke down. He's a nice person. We'll get something back. Or when you're at the job as a manager, oh, well, this hasn't been done. Or for example, my labor was bad last week. I'll adjust it next week. Putting your ego to the side and knowing that something better is coming, or you're taking care of your team. Because one of the things that I also see, and now I'm learning too, is how sometimes people, or leaders, they get so above, the store and their employees, that they only focus on certain things such as money. And when you focus on only certain things such as money, what happens is that employee morale goes down. You're not, and think about it too, if you're so focused on anything other than your team or who you're serving, what's going to happen is that you're not only is your team not going to react off of you, but they're going to feel like you're awkward. You're not moving the same. You're not moving. You don't have the pep in your step that either you haven't had at all or you should have had before, because you're too focused on yourself. Every day I tell myself I have to put whatever I have going on out the door. It cannot come in with me, because if it comes in, and I'm not even going to lie, I'm not perfect at this, but if that comes in with me, then my team starts questioning, oh, is he okay? Or, oh, because, when you are the leader, they're looking up to you. When they have an issue, something going on that might be at home, and they got to come to you, they're going to come to you. They're not going to, sometimes they don't even want to talk to their friends because maybe their friends don't understand. Sometimes you're the outside source that they need to come talk to you about, and because you're not humble or you care about this, it's all right. Freaking take care of the team. That's what matters at the end of the day. If you're managing, running a business, doing an online store, doing anything where it requires customer service and products and all that in the business world, you have to take care of your customers, your employees, your shareholders, your stockholders, all of it. And it requires humility. Sometimes it requires you to drop your damn ego out the door or whatever situation and just focus on what has to get done. Rules are rules, things are there, but I'm telling you, there is gray area. That's one thing I've learned being a manager. That's one thing I've learned just in life in general. Some things are like this, but something happens like that. And if you're not prepared to handle the thing that's the situation that's having an issue, it's gonna make the outcome a whole lot crazier, worse, scarier, whatever you want to call it. So that's just the why behind it. Now, my next point I want to get into on humility is how to get it. You know, being humble, it's something that you have, but it's something to where, like we had mentioned just before, I think the number one technique that I do is what I just do. I breathe. Anytime I deal with the situation, anytime I deal with something to where it's like, man, you know what? Yes, I want the money. Yes, I want this budget or these sales to hit right, but it's not be. You have to breathe, because as humans, we react off of emotion. And when you react off of emotion, it makes the worst decisions, because you're thinking in a different consciousness. You're not thinking about you. You're thinking about something else. You have to think about you. And there's going to be more videos coming up about you and why you are important. But you have to calm down and think about you, why you are important. Don't let the situation boil over. Come back down to you. Figure out what you have to do. And if that you means you have to sacrifice that money, or you have to sacrifice that person, or you have to sacrifice that product that's not selling on Amazon, or you have to sacrifice that time that you could be spending with the potential client A because potential client B has a better offer, then freaking do it. That's what you got to do. See, and I'm learning this too. Life is a game. It's literally a game. Because think about it. When you were in elementary school, kinder, first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade, you beat that level. Then you got middle school, new level, high school, new level, boom, 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 level after level after level. When you're officially running your own business, there's always going to be new levels for you to hit. There's always, and that's why I'm going to premiere this soon. But if you guys haven't seen it, my logo, part of the reason why my logo is what it is because I have two wings. It represents two things. Number one, the wing is because I love to fly airplanes. The wing is, yes, Pat in the sky, baby. I love to fly. That's the first reason. The second reason why I have the wing is because it represents, you're always in life, you're always going to be trying to hit that next level. Like, people that are satisfied at this specific level, yeah, you're at this specific level, but there could be so much more you could be hitting and going after your next potential. But you don't want to do that because you're comfortable with where you're at. That's why they say comfort is a drug, because it keeps you at the same level when you could be doing more. That's why retirement, which is something that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of people working during retirement. It's like, why are you working during retirement? Well, it's because retirement, yes, it sounds great on paper, but when you're not doing nothing, do you not feel like, if I don't do anything, if I'm not posting these videos, how do I feel? Just letting time go by. Nothing. Like, dude, you need to be hitting more levels. And that's that's really the most important thing when you're being humble. Because when you're not humble, what you're not saying is that you don't care. You want to stay at the same level. You don't care what goes on, and you're not willing to learn more about yourself, or learn more about your business, or learn more about what you have to do to go hit that next target. And if you're not going to do that, that's fine. But just know that don't be upset when the money results stay the same. Don't be upset when, especially in 2022 and how fast things change, you have client A, client B, client C go to a different client, because now client A sees that your product is streamlined the same for the past 2 years, but the other company has a new product that's better. That if you don't adjust, it's going to take you out of business. I've seen that personally too. So that's another reason why being humble and having humility is going to help you out, because being humble and having humility is always going to tell you that, hey, you know what, this is great. I'm glad product A is at an all-time high, but if I don't get product B ready to go to even match product A or go a little bit higher, then what's going to happen is that you're going to get complacent, and then another company that produces product AA is going to outtake product A, and then you're down the water. That's another reason why being humble is important. And that's how you have to get it. You really have to get it in the mindset of there's always a higher level to hit. Gaining trust. So humility is it's great. Humility is great because you get, especially in a team, and I'm talking. So when it comes to gaining and trusting people, so when you're trying to build a business out, your goal is to gain an audience, gain customers, gain people coming back because you have a great product, you have a great loyalty program, and all this. But to do that, it requires them to see what you got. For me as a general manager, when I first got to my store, I had issues, and the team respected and trusted me when they saw me doing things more than what the required job title is. So what's that? So for example, I have to work 50 hours a week, 5 days, or 50 hours a week, over 5 days, so 10 hours a day. And there were times when certain team members would call out on overnight, 24-hour business. So, as a manager, you're like, dude, I don't work my butt off. I don't want to freaking work overnight. Let somebody else low above me do it. But you know what? I sucked it up and I said, I got to do it. I got to do it because I got something to prove. This team does not know me. They need to know that I'm here and I'm serious about my job. If I decided that I was only going to be a 9-to-5 GM in a 24-hour business, that's okay. But to my other team members, how are they gonna go with what I'm trying to do with the store? How are they gonna do that? They're not. They're not gonna do that because, like, oh well, if he is a GM and he doesn't want to work days, and while he should, then why should we go? Why should I do it? Why in an instance where if someone calls out and my GM can't get to the store, why do I have to do it? Because I'm only scheduled to work 5 days. Do you see how it is? People are only going to follow, gain, and trust people that are doing the same thing that they either should be doing or whatever the other person's description should be. The minute they don't do that is the minute they lose faith, they lose trust, and they go somewhere else or they go to another employer. It's the same thing with the product online. So if you're selling something online and you create a job description that is so juicy, and the customer's like, yeah, you sell great pictures, but the customer gets the product and then they're like, well, this is not what I asked for. The product says this online with the picture and it's a freaking opposite one and with the opposite description. Do you think they're gonna want to come back to your business? No. And that's the thing too. And pricing's another one. So if you price your services to at a certain point and your product does not match with the quality of the price that the person paid for, they're gonna be like, you know what? Let me get my refund. Let me go find someone with a similar product, because there's a lot of similarities out there. You already know it's a saturated market, most likely with where you're at. Not to scare you, just saying that's how you got to think. And they're gonna go somewhere else. So how do I make sure that I gain and trust my customers to where they can come back, keep buying, and and stay in the value pool? And we'll go into the value pool in a different video, but gaining that trust and building that value with your customers, especially your loyal customers, so when they come back, they will be able to enjoy buying from you and staying loyal to you. That's really important. And having a business and being humble as the one that's managing or leading it or being the boss of it, being the owner of it. So talk to your team. This is more of a this is everything too. When running a business, you have to keep in the communication from what are your team members dealing with? What are they experiencing with on the job? What is it that they do or don't understand? If you're running a business outside, it's how do you share that feedback? How do you give that follow-up? Do you give them a survey to be like, hey, how was your experience with the product, or how was the experience buying with it? I know a lot of this is common sense, but at the same time, a lot of people, again, miss the humility part because they're so focused on the money, or they're so focused on the time, or on whatever. And again, time is money, but I'm just giving an example. But especially when it comes to the money, you're so focused on the money that your feedback or you just spending time or whatever business you're in, you're not involved with that. You have to be involved with the feedback, with the communication of your team or the people that buy your product. Because if 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 not, that ends your business. Because if there's no reviews about your product, or if there's no feedback from your team members, how the heck are they supposed to move forward? See, let me tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you something right now. This is toward the team aspect of being a manager to your team. If your team does not, if team members want to know what they're messing up on, how they can improve, because we are human beings, we're creatures of habit. But at the same time, a lot of good people, a lot of human beings want to know how they need to move forward, because at the same time, human beings want to progress. We are meant to grow as individuals, and if you don't give that feedback, if you don't talk to your team, how the heck are they going to grow? Because I'm telling you right now, again, it's all about hitting that next level. And just like how you want to hit that next level, your team has to be the one. They want to go on a different level too. Some of the people want to be in the same shoes you are in a couple of years. Some people want to be freaking CEOs. Some people want to be where they're at. That's okay. And then some people, they don't care. But most of the time, when you have good people on your team, you need to give feedback. You need to talk to them. If you have loyal customers, you need to have consistent feedback. Hey, this new product that I released, how was it different than the last product that I did? How did what are some of the changes that I can improve on, so that way the next product that I release to you is 10,000 times better than the one that I gave you today? There's always a chance for you to give feedback, talk to your team, give an open dialogue instead of a closed dialogue. I don't care what anyone says. A closed dialogue is it's bullcrap, because if you give a closed, if you don't do anything, team members are going to go behind your back. You're not going to know why stuff isn't done. You're going to be like, because they don't trust. You haven't done. You got to talk to them. You have to talk to your team. And finally, the last talking point under humility is self-growth. So the reason why I put self-growth in this one is that's really what it is. You know, we are human beings. We're not, you know, we're all trying to strive for greatness, but at the same time, I haven't gotten to this point without learning from other coaches, mentors, parents, loved ones, friends. They'd be like, hey, Patrick, do this instead, because maybe they've experienced something. See, you have to drop the ego and the pride in order for you to grow, because if you don't drop the ego and the pride, you're not going to grow. You're going to, again, be in the same place and not be moving up the ladder. So you have to really, and it's going to hurt too for some people that haven't done this. You really just have to just breathe. It's going to sting, but at the same time, just know that this person most of the time is trying to help you advance and grow. And that could be from above the people that's mentoring you, and below too, because I've had team members tell me stuff and I'm like, dang, you know what, that actually could make kind of sense. And in return, if their idea worked because you took it, now your sales grew in this section, or your store got better in that section, or your department got good in that section. Always be humble enough, always be willing enough to listen to other people. That in return, which we'll go into another video about networking, which is a really powerful one. That in return will help you mature, grow through those experiences, so you can go up the ladder and keep eventually, you know, hey, make more money and do better things in society. So that is all the time I got for today. I just wanted to go through this Pat Talk and just talk about humility, because I think it is extremely important for all the leaders out there, especially those who are entrepreneurs that are trying to make it in this hustle. And like I said, you know, I hope that everyone that's doing it, you guys are going to be successful at it. All the leaders out there that are working currently, you guys are going to be successful at it. You just have to remember that you just have to remember to, you know, learn. Humility is all about learning. Never stop learning. It doesn't just end after you graduate college or graduate high school or whatever source of education that you have for you. So with that being said, guys, another session of Pat Talk. I got some more stuff coming soon. Hopefully I'll get a green screen or something to make this thing more spicy and juicy. And I'll see you guys on the next video.